Today, FBI agents searched the office of one of the most powerful Democrats in Virginia politics. That is State Senate President pro tempore Louise Lucas. Lucas has been a driving force behind Virginia Democrats' efforts to redraw the Commonwealth's congressional map, a plan that Virginia voters passed in a recent referendum. Republican allies of Donald Trump are now challenging that new map in court. And Democrats believe the new map, again, a plan passed by Virginia voters that is central to all of this, could eventually put as many as 4 additional House seats in their column in the midterms. Tonight, Donald Trump's Justice Department is offering little public explanation about exactly what investigators were actually looking for in that raid on the office of Louise Lucas. The search, overseen by FBI Director Kash Patel, unfolded while somehow, some way, Fox News cameras were already positioned outside of Lucas's office to capture the whole thing. What a coincidence. No charges have been filed. According to the New York Times, 2 people familiar with the case said the search was related to an investigation opened during the Biden administration that has continued, examining possible corruption and bribery related to marijuana dispensary businesses. Still, the political backdrop is impossible to ignore. Donald Trump has repeatedly framed the Justice Department as his Justice Department, a tool for political retribution, for threatening rivals, for targeting perceived enemies, demanding loyalty from federal agents. MS Now political contributor Steve Bannon writes this today. This is why we don't politicize federal law enforcement. Because even if the underlying case is legitimate, it is impossible to avoid the larger context and the degree to which this looks like a retaliatory investigation against a Democrat launched by a weaponized department known for its retaliatory investigations against Democrats. Last night on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, former President Barack Obama warned about this exact danger.
The White House shouldn't be able to direct the Attorney General to go around prosecuting whoever the president wants to prosecute.
Right, because technically it's under the executive branch.
Technically,
the norm is that it's independent.
The idea is that the Attorney General is the people's lawyer. It's not the president's consigliere.
Right, even when it's Bobby Kennedy.
It's Bobby Kennedy. And so 2 of the core principles of a democracy. We can survive a lot. Bad policy, funky elections. There's a bunch of stuff that, we can overcome. We can't overcome the politicization of the criminal justice system, the awesome power of the state. You can't have a situation in which whoever's in charge of the government starts using that to go after their political enemies or reward their friends.
You can't have a situation in which whoever is in charge of the government starts using that to go after their political enemies or reward their friends. In the wake of the Supreme Court ruling gutting Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, Republicans across the South are racing to redraw congressional maps ahead of the midterms. In Tennessee, Republicans have unveiled a proposed map that Democrats say would effectively eliminate the last remaining Democratic congressional seat in the entire state. That is Congressman Steve Cohen's Memphis district. And in South Carolina, Republicans are now moving towards a special legislative session that could target the state's only congressional district currently held by a Democrat. Not any Democrat, the legendary Congressman James Clyburn, who marched and was arrested fighting for civil rights in the 1960s. Back with us is Democratic Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. And Senator Booker, this whole thing with the South Carolina Republicans, aided, by the way, by the Supreme Court, could dismantle the state's lone Democratic district. It's crazy to even say it, represented by Jim Clyburn. What is your reaction to that?
It's very personal to me because I walk into the United States Senate as just the 4th black person popularly elected to that body after Barack Obama, who's number 3. And it's never lost on me the kind of sacrifices that Americans from all backgrounds had to make it possible for me to walk on that floor. I just came back from Alabama yesterday where I met foot soldiers of the movement. I met a woman that was on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I was reminded of people like Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner out trying to fight for people's voting rights who were killed and were the subject of that movie, Mississippi Burning. all of these efforts were to stop what had been going on for almost a century after the Civil War, which was the complete evisceration of blacks' voting rights, black representation. And now here we have 6 unelected individuals who, after millions of Americans joined together in a movement to create fairness, now they have gutted the Voting Rights Act that so many fought for and many died for, and are going to send us back to a world where entire states that have 20, 30, 40% almost, as in Louisiana, a third of their population is African American. But now we might be seeing a day where, yet again, like in that post-Reconstruction period, there are no blacks representing those states. This is an insult and an injury to our history. This is us trying to be thrown back to an era that we fought so hard to get out of. It is wrong. And the one thing I'm going to disagree with the great Barack Obama, the only thing I'm going to disagree with is we have seen the FBI go after people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We have seen them violate laws in the past. But just like when they bombed a church in Birmingham, just like when they beat and terrorized African Americans in the past, we did overcome. We overcame because we refused to give up. That even on the bleakest days, people rose up from all backgrounds and beat not just the FBI that was being used to intimidate, but actually overcame the Supreme Court and their past bad decisions like Plessy versus Ferguson or Korematsu. The people ultimately persevered, and that's what we have to do now.